speaker today is Brandon Carrasco. He's requesting 5 to 7 minutes. Starting is easy, finishing is hard. The devil is in the details. We must all choose wisely where to put our energy. Have you ever noticed that projects left unfinished continue to drain on you? This morning, Brandon Carrasco will talk to us about making the choice to finish strong in his speech titled, Finish It. Brandon Carrasco, finish it.
Finish it, finish it, finish it. For some of us, that might be a throwback to the dinner table as a child. Finish it. But it was a lesson that I learned from Santiago. In my first job years ago as an engineering assistant, I would look around at the desks of the other engineers. And on most of their desks, there were stacks of paper, there were file folders, work left undone from projects that they had already moved on from that was still lingering. But when I looked at Santiago's desk, his desk was clean, it was clear. He was focused on the next project that he was working on, and he didn't have leftover stuff. Santiago had chosen wisely, and he finished things. He made sure that he got his work done. Santiago was a fairly young engineer. He had only been with the company for a couple of years, but within those first couple of years, he was receiving assignments to be the lead on some of our most important projects. And he was recognized as being a high performer. Now, he was never specifically recognized for this, but I realized that he was an excellent finisher. And so I talked to him, and I watched him, and I learned from him, and I've applied some of those same things in my life and in my work since those days. That's what I will share with you today. 4 things that if you will do, and that I have done, will help you to be a strong finisher in any project. Finish it, finish it, finish it is the mantra of the day. The first thing, item number 1, identify all of the work to be done. Identify all of the tasks that you have to do. How can you know that you're done if you haven't identified everything that has to be finished? And this can be simple, right? It's make a list. So it could be a Post-it note with a few tasks. It could be as complex as a Microsoft project document. But somehow you have to document and identify all of the work that needs to be done. Second thing is you need to plan and prioritize. So you have a list of tasks, but what order do they need to be done in? Let's prioritize them. Is it in chronological order? Is there some time element to them? Is it sequential? One has to come before the other. Is it most to least important? Whatever makes sense for your project, put them in some kind of order, and then you have to plan it. I have this saying that what doesn't get put on a calendar doesn't get done. The problem with big list of tasks is the important but not urgent tasks will get pushed and pushed and pushed. So if you plan some time on a calendar, you can prevent the important from becoming the urgent and from becoming an emergency. So, number 1, identify all of the work. Number 2, plan and prioritize. Number 3 then is start to knock them out one by one. And if you'll work on a task that way, or if you'll work on a list that way, and focus on one thing at a time and move from one to the next to the next, 1, you'll be more effective in your work. It's hard to make progress if you're going 5 different directions. But 2, you start to see your progress. Sometimes if you start with a list of 40 items, it can be daunting. But when you're 10 items or 20 items or 30 items into that, it starts to get exciting. You start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You start to see the progress that you're making. So work on them one by one. And number 4, use all of the resources at your disposal. Sometimes I think we get a little uncreative, right? We forget that we have software or information or tools or people that we can collaborate or delegate to, but make sure that you're using all of the resources at your disposal to finish that work, to make sure that you're getting things done efficiently. So to recap, identify all of the work to be done. Number 2, plan and prioritize. Number 3, start to knock them out one by one. And number 4, make sure you use all of the resources at your disposal. Finish it, finish it, finish it. So let me conclude by addressing one concern that I think you may have. By taking this approach to quickly working through a task list on a project, that doesn't mean that you do it sloppily or hastily. On the contrary, I think by working in that manner, not only are you you're gonna do a better job because you're able to focus, but you'll do a better job with the project overall. You'll finish strong. You won't leave things lingering and people wondering when it will be done. This has worked well for me. Coincidentally to me planning this speech, 2 weeks ago I was recognized in an entire company town hall meeting by our CEO with something we call the Annual Pillar Award. It's kind of like an Employee of the Year award type of thing. And it was a surprise to me. I didn't know that was coming. But what he cited in that presentation was leadership in accomplishing things during critical times. And I thought to myself, why was I able to do that? What made me stand out? And I think it was these 4 things that I just talked about. I made sure I knew what needed to be done. I made sure that I planned and prioritized things, and I put things on calendars that were important. I made sure that I knocked things out one by one and closed them out, and I used all of the resources that I had available to me. It wasn't hard. It was those 4 simple things just applied over and over and over again. I'm telling you, if you will apply those 4 things in the work that you do, regardless of what it is, it will pay off to you. You'll be a higher performer than everybody around you by just applying those simple things. Start strong, but finish stronger. Finish it, finish it, finish it. Madam Toastmaster.